this life, oh, na so palava. I tire for this problem, I tire for life, oh. Guinea, no work, no food, no house, no life. This small water, then they bring us so dirty, they pull am. This small money, I they get now so transport, they chop am. Abba, school low, na headache, hospital, no work, I tire for life, oh. My brother, waiting you they think, oh. My sister, help don't come. SDP, MKO, Kingibe, action. MKO, Kingibe, SDP, progress. Abiola na the logo, SDP na the party to solve our problem and better our life, oh. MKO, 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 action. Abiola, 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 progress. Now he be the hope for better tomorrow.
Before his foray into the murky waters of Nigerian politics, Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola was one of Nigeria's most colorful philanthropists. Born in Abeokuta on Wednesday, the 24th of August, 1938, to parents who were by his own account too poor to send him to school, MKO Abiola's superlative brilliance in elementary school won him scholarships virtually all through life. Before the scholarships started coming, he had done virtually every imaginable thing to see him through elementary school. Though born a Muslim, Chief Abiola attended Baptist Boys High School, Abeokuta, Ogun State, on the scholarship of the Nigerian Baptist Church between 1951 to 1956, and University of Glasgow, Scotland, between 1961 to 1965, on the scholarship of the then Nigerian Western region. He loved giving and would readily tell listeners, but for the Baptists, he would at best have been a poor vulcanizer in Abeokuta. It is one probable reason why to the late business mogul, giving was a business you must not be found wanting in.
As an individual, I care. I will still be meeting about 50 people in the house tonight, and I will attend to them. That is my life. But I will attend to them more directly, not as a charity, but as a duty.
Basharu Abiola gave and gave and gave until he gave the ultimate, his life, in a quest to actualize a presidential election mandate he was given on June 12, 1993. The popular axiom to live in the hearts of those we love is not to die is probably more appropriate to Chief Abiola than most humans. His last 5 years on earth were more remarkable than his previous 55 years. Rising from lowly backgrounds with no inherited influence, Basharu MKO Abiola rose by dint of hard work to become the toast of kings and queens. But he was a kingmaker without a scepter. He hardly bore grudges, but was tenacious in the extreme for anything he holds dear. Until the epochal events following the annulment of the historic June 12, 1993 election, which he won fair and square, Abiola was considered by many elites to be, like most, a conservative businessman who will readily count his losses and move on with his life whenever the situation demanded. Even among the millions of his well-wishers among the lowly, it is doubtful if Chief Abiola would not have found a way back to their hearts if he had abandoned the June 12 struggle without laying down his life. But Abiola chose rather to die for what he held dear, and today, also on account of his selflessness, hardly does anyone remember this worthy son of Nigeria was a shrewd businessman who made as much as he could from the global international communications business. Today, we remember this noble son of Egba peasants who, by dint of hard work and a yet unequaled network of powerful friends and admirers, cultivated over more than 20 years of preparation, won the June 12, 1993 Nigerian presidential elections. Chief Abiola was obviously one very recent political leader who prepared himself to lead Nigeria out of the abyss of the rudderlessness that has been the lot of the country since independence, particularly at the federal level. It is believed that Chief Abiola was prevented from taking over the reins of governance by a cabal that has, even by the official public admission, held the country down. The then military leader, General Ibrahim Babangida, incidentally a close friend of Abiola, has to date not given any tangible reason for the annulment of Nigeria's fairest and most peaceful presidential election.
It is true that the presidential election was generally seen to be free, fair, and peaceful. However, there was in fact a huge array of electoral malpractices virtually in all the states of the Federation before the actual voting began.
At the famous Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Chief Abiola had defied Nigerian military's annulment of his hard-won victory. The following national crisis snowballed into the return of the military, and Chief Abiola was arrested and detained by the government of General Sani Abacha and charged for treasonable felony. The trial was stalled for 4 years until his death on the eve of freedom on Tuesday, July 7, 1998, which sparked off the violent protest, particularly in Lagos and other towns in the Nigerian southwest where he was born, even though the man arguably to date recorded the most pan-Nigerian election victory in the country's near 50 years history. When he returned to Nigeria, he joined the Lagos University Teaching Hospital as the Deputy Chief Accountant in 1965. 2 years later, he joined Pfizer Products Limited, Lagos as Chief Accountant. But it was at the International Telephone and Telegraph Corporation that he hit gold. He joined as a controller in 1969 and rose to be the vice president of the corporation in Africa and the Middle East. He was the chief executive ITT Nigeria Limited 1977 to 1988. He retired voluntarily in 1988. A human dynamo, Chief Abiola had enormous capacity for work even with all his wealth. He dispensed money freely to the needy to worthy causes anywhere in the world. He was dubbed the pillar of sports in Africa because of his generous contributions to the development of sports. Throughout his adult life, he was committed to the upliftment of the black man. He left his mark in every venture he dabbled. His foray into Nigerian journalism changed the face of Nigerian media. He brought substantial panacea to newspaper publishing as the publisher of the Concord Group of newspapers in the 1980s. He was also of the strong opinion that the colonialists and slave dealers who plundered the continent should pay reparation, a crusade he could not finish before his death. Official records have it that Chief Abiola was honored with more than 100 titles across countries and continents, of which include the Basharu of Ibadan and the Are Ona Kakanfo of Yoruba land. Chief Abiola was married to many wives, including Alaja Kudirat, who was herself assassinated on Tuesday, June 4, 1996, by guns of the then military regime, trying to silence the deafening clamor for the actualization of the June 12 election.
In 5 years' time, no Nigerian child will go to bed hungry by the grace of God.
Àsìkò ti tó ẹ̀yin ará mi ẹ jẹ́ a ṣojúṣe wa.